Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Beavercreek City Council on December 10th. Before we start on our agenda today and I call the meeting to order, we have a special presentation from the Greene County Commissioners. So I would invite Commissioner Kugler, Commissioner Anderson, and Commissioner Glazer, joined by County Administrator Brandon, to make their presentation, please.
Well, council members, it's a pleasure on behalf of the county commissioners, myself and Alan Anderson and Bob Glazer, myself, Tom Kugler, that we want to present a check to you for a little over $71,000. And the commissioners this year, we have been very fortunate through good management and a good economy that our cash carryover is well over $26 million. And we want to share some of that money back to the political subdivisions within the county. And we did it, took $500,000 and divided it on a per capita basis. And Beavercreek City's share of that is $71,000. And no strings attached. We'd like to know what you do with it, so that we can see the benefit and what the return on investment of the county would be within the community. And we're certain that as elected officials yourself, that you are going to certainly invest that money in a way that's going to benefit the citizens of Beavercreek, the city of Beavercreek. So it is our pleasure to present this check to you. And before we do that, I want the other two commissioners to have a couple of comments here. And so, Mr. Anderson, as our assistant, what are you? Vice President of the Commission. Okay.
Yes, that's right. It's a pleasure to be here. We're all part of Greene County, and while the money is divided up statutorily here and there, it came from the people of Greene County. And as our budget has been stabilized pretty well, our various capital accounts have been well stocked, I think, given where we are. We did decide, just as Tom said, it was a good opportunity to share this money back to the local communities. You know the specific needs you have, and I have no doubt that this will be well spent. Like I said, I'm interested to see if maybe you can use it as a match for a grant to multiply it a little bit. But however you use it, we're glad for you to have it, and very thankful for your work and for the residents of Beavercreek. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Glazer.
As a former member of this council, it's great pleasure on my part to take and participate in giving the city of Beavercreek this money, and hopefully you can use it as a match for additional funds and multiply it. We don't know that we're going to be able to do this every year, but we intend to try to make an effort. And that being said, I live in Beavercreek, and I'm glad to see that we're being able to present this check tonight. That being said, could we have City Council come down and we'll get a picture of everybody with our large check here?
Not your feet. Not there, right here. We don't
Everybody be careful.
You say, man.
Hey, you're welcome.
You know how we are.
Easy, Julie.
Let's get everybody behind the check. Behind the check. Get the mayor here. All right. Let's get everybody. Okay. Get everybody in there.
I'm going to go on the other side.
Alan, you in here? All right.
Well, on behalf of the City Council and the entire city, I wish to say thank you very much, and we will certainly put this money to good use. So thank
Great.
you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Now, there's one very important thing. That check doesn't cash real well. This one does.
Nobody else saw this.
Yeah. Let's see you put this to an ATM. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's really nice to have a
Again, Merry Christmas to you.
It's really nice to have a
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Bob. Julie? Thank you.
really nice.
We don't want to be rude, but we've got other gifts.
I understand. 'Tis the season.
We'd like to stay, but we have to go to another community and present another check. And we probably should have worn Santa Claus.
Right.
It's the season, yeah.
We would welcome you anytime you would like to make a performance presentation like this. You are
Anytime.
cordially welcome.
Well,
If you want to make it monthly, we can make time in our agenda.
we don't mess up agendas. See, that's all about.
Well, we'll make.
Okay.
All right, we will call this meeting to order now and have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Curran.
Here.
Councilmember Literal. Councilmember Rushing.
Here.
Councilmember Upton. Councilmember Van.
Here.
Vice Mayor Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Stone.
Here. At this time, we have a couple Boy
Mr. Mayor?
Scouts.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Upton and Councilmember Literal.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Literal and Councilmember Rushing. All in favor, say aye.
Upton.
Upton.
I'm here.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Did we get it? Opposed, same sign. Thank you. We now would like to introduce two Boy Scouts that are here, and they're going to help us with the pledge. So would you please come up and tell us your name and the troop number you're with?
Hello, everybody. I'm Kenneth Thompson,
I'm Neil Thompson.
and we're from Troop 870 in Beavercreek, Ohio. So will everybody please stand and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you would all please join me in a moment of thought with the passing of our 41st president, and one of the things that he stood for, a kinder and gentler nation. And I think that we need a little bit of that, so let's pause for a moment. Thank you very much. And thank you, fellas. We have an agenda before us. Any changes?
Second.
A motion is second to approve the agenda as submitted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Approval of our minutes, starting with November 12th, 2018 regular meeting. Any comments?
Mr. Mayor, seeing none, I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 12th, 2018 regular meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted for November 12th, 2018. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Abstentions? Motion carries. Next is the meeting budget work session for November 19th, 2018.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the November 19th budget work session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Abstentions? Motion carries. And finally, the minutes for the November 26th, 2018 regular meeting.
Seeing no comments, I move to approve the meeting minutes for the regular meeting November 26th, 2018.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for November 26th, the regular meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Abstentions? Motion carries. Next we have on the agenda is the State of the City budget message. Mr. Landrum.
Thank you, Mayor Stone, Vice Mayor Garcia, and council members. It's been a great year, 2018. Wanted to take a few minutes of this year. You should each have a hard copy handout there that I'll be going through. Also, I'd like to say that this Presentation, of course, will be, of course, on YouTube and shared on our website and many other social media sites. Plus, the presentation will be available as well on our website, probably starting tomorrow. So the state of the city provides the citizens current fiscal accountability and operational capital accomplishments of the city. It presents the upcoming municipal budget and near future plans for city improvements to maintain or enhance facilities and service deliveries. So the city is fortunate to have dedicated employees to help move the city forward every day. And as city manager, I am very proud to share with you the 2019 State of the City address and shine a spotlight on what's up and coming in 2019. All right. When we were meeting throughout the year and the director, department heads meetings that we have just about every week, one of the things and topics that kept coming up, if you would say a theme, was these 4 words, kind of 3 of them, but 2 of them are closely related. But capacity, connectivity, and communication and consistency. Everything we were talking about, I would say, what's our capacity to do that? What's our capacity of service, capacity of labor? What's our capacity of revenue? Do we have enough revenue? Connectivity and communication, it's not, they're different words, but they all relate to between departments, employees, council, and of course, to the residents. And consistency, when you talk about consistency, I always wanted to ask, have consistency of policy, consistency of scheduling, budgeting, planning, consistency of actions and practices. So we'd always talk about those things. And as we go through this presentation on the budget as well, you'll begin to see how these things come alive and how these themes are expressed. Moving on to the administration, starting the 18 review. Continue to facilitate and implement council management strategy priorities, of course, and the communication throughout the community was important. We'll talk more about that when we get to some social media. Ongoing communication with Beavercreek Township, Beavercreek Chamber of Commerce, and the Beavercreek Schools, and of course with the county, who was just here, with Bellbrook, Fairborn, and other communities, Xenia. The communication is had with the city managers, and actually beyond that, I know there's other networking that's always going on with those communities. We implemented the city of Beavercreek in 18 the electric aggregation program. I'm pleased to report the first 2 months, first two full months, it's a mouthful, residents have saved in excess of 9% on their electric. I just got that information on Friday. We began a rebranding process, the use of social media, websites, and press releases. Rebranding isn't just changing your colors or logos. That's about what the perception, what do people hear about Beavercreek, and that we began this year through heavy use of press release and social media. We completed an online survey, SurveyMonkey, which is still available to be completed until the 15th of this month. So if you haven't, please visit our website to complete that. And of course, that will help us on issues and to assist in near and long-term initiatives. The outcome of that will be presented next year. The city was designated as a Purple Heart City. That was near and dear to Mayor's heart. Anytime you got veterans, and they had a big ceremony up here, if you remember, that was great and tremendous. Also changed the council management strategy session timeframe to better align with the budget process. That was new, where we always used to have it in January. Now it's right before the budget, so we can start formulating council's strategies into the budget process. Moving on to finance, Financial Administrative Service Department. All I can say here is award, award, award. Received Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. They received an Auditor of State Award with distinction. Less than 5% of the state received that. Implemented timekeeping software. One of the things we're going to talk about is technology tonight, and we'll discuss more about the timekeeping software citywide, but working with those cities' current financial software vendor to automatically download timekeeping data directly into the city's payroll system. It's even more than it sounds. I'll just put it to you that way. Continue to update the long-term financial strategy. Finance will always be reviewing all levies and the time of potential alternative revenue sources, and implemented yet another program, a new financial reporting application called Connect, designed to increase operational efficiencies and financial reporting. Part of the financial department is also human resources, and under that updated employee manual offered various wellness initiatives during the year, which we'll talk about that when we get to the increase of health insurance and how low it is. That's definitely due to wellness. Reviewed and developed a more efficient hiring process and updated policies as needed. The hiring process is something we'll always continue. We're looking at technology there, especially when you have seasonal and you have 80 to 100 seasonals that you're getting in at one time. More technology instead of paper flow is being looked at. Information services, that's part of what we're looking at here, being videotaped tonight. We've aired the live city council meetings during the year, added meetings to the website and YouTube channel. We're trying to get Beavercreek Township trustee meetings on the air as well. We're working with them right now. Downloaded and aired Greene County Commissioner meetings. Created programming each week, program automation for playback. That way, if you missed it one time, it'll be in a loop and then on a programming, just like regular TV. And added announcements to the TV bulletin board. Again, part of that communication and connectivity to the community. Next, with the planning and development, still always wanted to call it planning department, but we changed that this year to planning and development. We completed a visioning plan for the Beaver Valley Shopping Center, and the final product will be released in January 2019. So we'll be sharing that with council early on. Zoning codes update included regulations on small cell tower facilities and medical marijuana legislation and prohibition. We had a structural analysis that we just received actually this past week of the 9/11 memorial, which was completed with Unison, and I want to give them a very big thanks because they conducted the analysis on a volunteer basis. So that's our favorite four-letter word, free. The zoning map was updated and formally approved in 2018 as well. Selection and the beginning of implementation of a new software SmartGov module, and we'll talk more about this, of Dude Solutions, which will be used for code enforcement and permitting. Again, when we get to technology, I'll kind of sum all that technology up. On to police department. We passed a levy with nearly 70% of the vote, a 4.5 mil continuing renewal levy. We thank the residents for the support of that. Successfully completed the annual CALIA audit of proofs of compliance. Deployed the police motorcycle traffic unit to address traffic concerns. Officer Barber has done an outstanding job with that. He's the hit of the crowd with his motorcycle everywhere he goes. Some people don't like seeing the motorcycle, but that's when they're doing something they shouldn't. But that's been a big help in not only communication and connectivity to the community, but it's also been a very good for safety purposes, as it's intended. The department is also recognized for being the first law enforcement agency in the Miami Valley to partner with the Greene and Montgomery County Boards of Disabilities to present safety tips and programs to improve the quality of life for people with developmental disabilities. That's outstanding, because you got to understand part of that is officers, it's a two-way street. Officers learning how to communicate with people with disabilities, but also the people with disabilities the other way, learning how to communicate with the officers. So it's really important that the officers learn some of the signs when somebody has a disability so it can be handled properly. Assigned a new community engagement officer. That happened this year, Officer Brown. He's done outstanding. He went from the school resource officer to the engagement officer, and again has been the hit of the town. Moving on to public administrative services. We purchased asset management software. This is part of what we're talking about, called Dude Solutions. But this also will be for code. It'll operate with the code enforcement to bring under one program. which I'll talk about more. Selected vendor and beginning GIS coordination of planning for data collection. So we have to actually hire a vendor to be able to collect all the data that we're going to collect that it's going to hold. Implemented locating of city-owned infrastructure through Ohio Utility Protection Services, and began working towards the American Public Works Association accreditation for street traffic and cemetery divisions, and began implementation of a new training program, and that was through the CWA. A lot of training, we felt, and the union this year bought in to our vision of training and cross-training, and it has been a very big success. They have helped us set up the program, which took a little bit of time to get it going, but now that it's going and the trainings that we are offering, it's been well received. An increased training and cross-training program as well as implemented safety committee. All right, moving on to engineering. Completed an annual resurfacing of 15.33 center miles this year. That's a little bit down from the 16, but you know, price of oil is up, so, but to get 15.33 center miles, that is terrific. And the curb program. Since the passage of the new capital improvement levy, that was back in 14, over 60 center line miles of roadways have been resurfaced. This encompasses approximately 25% of the roadway inventory, and by next year, we think it's going to be about 30%. Will have been resurfaced. With a curb replacement, over 7,000 linear feet of old curbing was replaced, as well as repairs to concrete traffic islands. And the biggest point here to point out is promises kept. This is exactly what, when the capital levy was promised, what would be done, and the promises have been kept. Also generated 10 grant applications. You know, when I came here, one thing I was very impressed with staff is the amount of applications and grant applications that they do. Well, it continues. 10 grant applications totaling over $10.5 million. We don't know the status of those yet. A lot of them will be known in early 2019. But generated successful grant applications for the Kemp Road widening project and County Line widening project, totaling just under $2 million from Ohio Public Works Commission and Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission grant money. So outstanding, great job, staff. Complete a right-of-way acquisition necessary for Shakertown Road extension project, and here's a whole bunch of completed to put the check mark next to. Complete construction of Dayton Xenia Road. Everybody wanted that to be done. Indian Ripple Road resurfacing project, Shakertown Road at Burntwood Drive widening, Shakertown Road at Idea Center Boulevard widening, and the Ridgecliff Drive culvert replacement project. Now, one of the most common ones we had on the list but didn't get it done this year because of grant receiving the grant funding and permission from the state to move ahead was very late in the year, and we got it bid out, but it won't be done. But the North Fairfield Road resurfacing, that is by Lakeview to, I believe, North Drive, will be done probably as a first project next year. So that's a very rough stretch of road through there, but that'll be done early in 19. In Parks, moving on to Parks Department, we selected Brainsetter Carroll to lead the process for creating a 10-year Parks Recreation Master Plan. Again, that statistically valid surveys and online surveys have been completed. Stakeholder groups have met, and several open forums and events were held. That is something that the results of the Park Master Plan will be in early part of first half of 2019, and Council will begin receiving some of the information very shortly. Council adopted and created a tree board committee as part of the requirements for obtaining the Tree City USA designation. And if you remember, we held an arbor celebration in conjunction with the Tree City USA efforts, and we planted a couple trees last year, or earlier this year. Seems like last year, doesn't it? Added an additional group to adopt a park program, continue to promote space at the Lafino Plaza for public programs and meetings for various organizations. Now, if you know, since October 2007, 267 meetings have been held in this space. And if you're ever out there, I know Mayor's out there and Chuck's out there, Councilmember Kern's out there. He's out there a lot for the senior center. but when they walk past the Lafino Center part of it, it's always packed. There's something always going on, and that's exactly what the space was designed to be used for, was to keep community groups busy, and it definitely, in programming, and it definitely has not let us down. We fostered a new relationship with the Beavercreek branch of Greene County Public Library Story Walk. If you've ever been out to St. Dominic Park, they have a story walk around the lake there and various other types of programs. Partner with Decoy Art Studio to run financial successful winter and spring break camps. Increase summer day camp attendance by 14%. Develop new partnerships with Mosaic Church to help summer kickoff event. These partnerships, I can't stress with the Parks Department. Without these partnerships, we would not be able to do hardly any of what we are able to do. It's the partnerships in the Parks Department, along with many other departments that just make this city go. So thank you to all the partners and volunteers. We received special grant from Greene County Council on Aging to purchase accessible door opener for fitness center. We had 2 fitness programs for new programs, working with outside sponsors, and added 7 new one-and-done programs, and selected MSP to design alternative, this is with a cemetery, burial master plan at Mount Zion Park. That will be presented, I believe, in January, the master plan for the cemetery. We installed new playgrounds, continuing with the parks, playgrounds at Gershbarker Park and Rotary Park. Some of the ribbon cutting will be done. The playground are installed, but getting the mulch and getting some final, and of course the weather. Anybody want to go outside and do the ribbon cutting today? So, also have installed sunshades in Royal Point Park. Oversaw volunteer projects for various projects at Gershbarker Park, Spicer Heights Park, Dominic Lafino Park, and Wardinger Park. Many volunteers again. Partner with Beavercreek Township for Fishing Derby. Added a variety of partners to volunteer for 4th of July event. Increase attendance at Party in Your Parks. Was just awarded, now this, here we go, just awarded a playground grant to help with E.J. Nutter, Seville, and Stafford Parks. It's 100% match. So in other words, we already had budgeted. So let's pretend we're going to put a $30,000 playground. Let me tell you, I know that sounds expensive. That's hardly anything. But we'll do a $30,000. So since we put $30,000 in it, the grant's going to give us another $30,000. So for the same thing, we're going to get a $60,000 playground instead of a $30,000. So they match a dollar for dollar of the amount we're going to put in. So we'll be able to pretty much double the size of the playgrounds that we were going to put in at these parks. So congratulations to the Parks Department. I think we just approved that grant application like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Council
and
did,
we did,
so thank
yeah.
you. And it was that quick
Wow.
that we found out.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that I was like, that quick? So thank you, Council, for supporting us and applying for that. Next on, moving from park, golf. Installation of camera security system out at our golf course, replacement of golf cart fleet. This time we went to a 4-year instead of 5-year lease. That helps us get out from having an extra lease payment when the carts are really kaput. They only last 4 years, so why are we going 5-year lease on a 4-year cart? So we got that corrected. Hosted the Boys and Girls Golf Championship, and we replaced an outside walk-in cooler, which is big when you're having events. Don't want any spoiled food. Installed golf ball range dispenser. That was a big hit. We did get extra revenue for that. It did come $3,000–4,000 extra in revenue just from that, so it will pay for itself over a couple years. Plus the convenience of just hitting the golf balls and not having to go all the way back inside to get more balls. It just encourages more spending when you can swipe a card and get your balls. Hosted a party on the patio events, continued Sunday brunch events. We just had the breakfast with Santa yesterday. I know Mayor Stone I saw, and Councilmember Kern and myself were there. Got a picture with Santa. Very good food. So thanks for the support. Those will continue next year. Hosted annual Halloween party as well. Now, here's where I want to go into some of the other topics, not necessarily by department. As we mentioned, the parks began the 10-year master plan and hosted numerous community involvement events. This is, if you think the communication and connectivity here, established steering groups, statistically valid surveys were sent out, online surveys were conducted, stakeholder groups have met, open forum held at several different events where people could put in input and have input for their parks. So that was for the park master plan. As I stated, the MSP was selected to design the burial master plan at Mount Zion Park, and this would create a substantial revenue stream to continue to support future operational demands. One open forum held with that, with the public and with the funeral directors. Let's face it, that they pretty much know what people are wanting, but that was a great discussion that happened that day. Our own citizen survey is out there, as I said, and we'll have till the 15th to get that, provide that feedback to us, please. So please provide us the feedback on issues to assist in near long-term initiatives. And like I said, all these master plans and surveys, the information and the results will be presented in 2019. All right, social media was big this year, of course, and along with, as well as our cable access channel and the In Touch as well. Never want to forget those. But just to give you an idea, how successful were they? You know, there's a chart. So when I started in December of 16, 2,676 likes on Facebook. Now we're at 4,109 as of the 1st. So just in 18, we grew by 948 likes. That's significant. That's by a third in 1 year. Twitter as well is jumping up there. The actual account was not active at all, and when we reactivated it, it began to jump as well. And YouTube this year was brand new, which we put out all the videos, and from the Veterans Memorial service that we had for Memorial, and we'll do both all the services that we do on that. We throw that information out there as well. Anything we got video, we can put out there. So those have definitely peaked and continue to grow. Technology, just want to briefly touch on technology. As we look at some of these items, I almost could say some of these items were still on people's desks as of this year, but the old typewriter, the old telephone, maybe it was on Bill's desk. Bill, was that computer on your desk? You know, but we have gone in 18. We have a lot to do in 19 on implementation, but I kid you not, we've went from the dark ages of horse and buggy, and we're catching up. And staff has had a very busy year. In 18, the year of research is what I call it. We've done nothing but researching, pricing, the right fit, planning, and beginning initial implementation on many of these programs that I'm getting ready to share with you. And as well, begin to look at capacity, connectivity, communication, and consistency with each one of these. When we go to our first by Dude Solutions Asset Essentials software, this is going to provide us with the GIS, work order management, and asset tracking software. So what's that mean? Well, it's going to be used by streets, traffic, parks, buildings and grounds, engineering, fleet maintenance, and planning and development. Just about touches every single department, just about. Matt goes out for a tall grass. There's a pothole in front of where he's got a nuisance complaint. He has a tablet. He'll be able to have a tablet. He'll be able to pinpoint the pothole and create a work order for the system. Before, maybe he made a phone call or tried to remember to email somebody. He'll have instant access to create a work order. This is also under Dude Solutions, is where what we've been aiming for all along is to have that truck with the lasers drive the roads, and that's going to be next year to grade each street and sidewalk, and as much as you know, some of these are going to be in steps and phases, but this is the asset inventory software that is needed to house that data. So for once, we're going to really be planning is going to be able to see what engineering is doing. Engineering is going to be able to see what streets are doing, and so forth. This is the connectivity that I wanted to make sure that we are all on the same page. Sometimes we walk over each other and just stumble over each other and do not realize the other one was doing this and So communication is key, and this will help us along with that. SmartGov is part of Dude Solutions, but that is the module of Dude Solutions Asset Essential Software. This module is used by the code enforcement and permitting. Again, that will be used in the nuisance and the permits, and again, it will be transparent so that other departments will be able to tell what's going on. Grave Discover, this is in our cemetery, so this software will map out graves, print deeds, lot cards, invoices, and receipts. You know, it wasn't that long ago, prior to me coming, but that the cemetery department division did a bunch of cleanup of deeds and searching and organizing deeds, and it was the paper format, which was definitely needed to do. Who was buried where are there vacant, who have purchased slots but haven't, you know, they're still empty, hopefully. And with this cleanup, now we're going to computerize it. So this will help us even more to manage our cemeteries. MyRec is a parks and recreation and cultural department new software. It's registration software that will be used in scheduling programming. New feature of the software also, this is a first, residents will be able to reserve shelters online. Before, that hasn't been able to be done. Not only can they reserve shelters online, as before, they'll be able to pay for programming as well online. But the reserving of the shelters has always been a kind of a, they could do all this and this, but then they'd have to make a phone call, and then they're confused on, do you call the township, do you call the city, and things like that. But this will definitely help with the reserving of the shelters. Next is Power DMS, and this is, Power DMS is a policy and procedure. If you talk about connectivity and communication to employees and consistency with the employees, this is very much that. It's a management program that will be used by citywide. This software, basically how we can roll out policies and procedures in a single searchable online source that automatically disseminates it. So it sends it out, collects signatures from employees, and tracks the organizational policies and procedures. So it's a powerful tool. It's something the police department already had, and we said, whoa, we like that, and so we'll begin using that as well. Right Stuff, we referred to these names for these programs. We didn't make them up, so Dude Solutions, Right Stuff, but they are what they are. Right Stuff is a customized scheduling and timekeeping system that will save time, increase accuracy, and eliminate the hassle that comes with paper-based process. All right, so until about a month ago, if you wanted to take a vacation day, a personal day, you were sick, whatever, you had to fill out a form, a paper hard copy form. And all the hard copy forms had to go to payroll, and with a signed, you know, everything signed by the approval process. So if it was your supervisor and then the department head had to sign it. The police department, I know, had their leaf slip was a triplicate form. So it was the white, yellow, and pink copies. No longer. It's gone. They are officially gone. The paper slips, triplicates, they're all gone. Also for the communication and connectivity to the employees, they are able to see their leave accruals. So instead of waiting on payday, they can log in, see their leave accruals. How much vacation do I have? How much sick leave do I have? They also are able to then fill out, I want a vacation day. They can fill out online, fill out that vacation, and then it will go down through the approval path. This is something that is also definitely helps us with our consistency of policy as well. I know it's been a little bit of you know, any new thing of all these are new, but timekeeping, and you have your hourly employees now punching an electronic clock. It's taken a little bit of time to get used to, but it is working now. It is beginning to understand just how to function, how it uses, and so forth. One thing that comes with social media, anytime you have that, is archive social, is that you need to have that for a public record. You know, somebody can come on to a social media site and type the nastiest of comment on there, and if it's their comment, you know, a day later they can say, you know, I shouldn't have said that, and they go in and delete it. Well, once they post something on our site, it's public record. So if they delete it, we no longer have access to it anymore if they delete it. So Archive Social just does that. It archives it. So within that time frame, then we would be able to go back and recall if there was a public info request on what was said on Facebook on this day or Twitter on this day or whatever. So Archive Social helps us do that. EcoLane is a senior center transportation software. I think Mayor's probably getting a crash course, no pun intended on crash course on this. It will schedule passengers, map out directions, and will be to reschedule up to the minute changes. It'll be able to. The software will streamline the transportation program at the senior center. So that's coming from notes and coming to go here. This will really make it more efficient.
Used it for the first time just today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, great to hear. I hope it worked today. And again, they
it
have
probably
tablets.
worked better than mine anyway,
Yeah.
because it
Well, great
takes
to
a little
hear.
getting used to.
It will. As in anything new, it takes a lot to get used to. But again, the tablet forms is, if you would call tablets, some people call them iPads, but they don't have to be Apple brand. But a tablet is the new future that we're seeing. And Connect, I mentioned this prior. Connect is a financial reporting application that's designed to increase operational efficiencies and financial reporting. This is going to help Bill and his crew have better financial reporting and for the CAFR and so forth that they have. All right, so wrapping up 18, I know it went on, but it was important. There's so much to go over. But the insights for 18, and on this technology specifically, all these are designed to improve efficiency. There's no doubt about it. Allowing hopefully more capacity. We'll be able to do more because we're more efficient, better communication, better connectivity, and better consistency all across the board. Not just with employees, but with residents, with council, with everybody, between departments and so on. We will know, I thought this was very important, we will know our assets, the condition of our assets, preventative maintenance schedule, and replacement schedule of all of our assets. So this isn't talking about roads. They've already came and reviewed City Hall. What's the air conditioning unit, HVAC system? What's the water tanks, hot water heaters? What's the replacement schedule of that? That will bring back to us a lot of information for budgeting, for planning of capital improvements. I'll come back to that. Also, all of this technology was, of course, consistent policy, connectivity, and communication between departments, division, employees, and residents, as I said. Now, here's where you get a little concerned, but the capacity of labor, this is going to put in light shine. So when we have all this information, and it's great that you have all of it, we need all of the information. We need to know how many potholes we have. We need to know how many air compressors we have and how many HVAC systems we have. The capacity of labor and funding, our ability to maintain the city services, buildings, and infrastructure. It's real data, and I always say for real planning. Give you an idea about the building for our infrastructure. You know, buildings are our infrastructure as well, not just the streets and curbs. But this week, got a call, 2 HVAC systems were down at the senior center. Price for each one of them, $20,000 each. Did I mention there's 12 of them? All done in 2004 at one time, of course, you know. They're aging. They're 15 years old. We got to hurry up and get them on a replacement schedule. Hopefully they can last. These 2 that went down, we're going to be able to hopefully repair them at a price of $3,000 a piece, but we didn't have $40,000 to throw at 2 new HVAC systems. But before this happened, I didn't know that we had 12, and there's 5 more under the new part of Lafino Plaza. So there's a total of 17 HVAC systems that house the senior and Lafino Plaza. But that's just an example of the knowledge and data that we're going to have to put together. But when you put all that together, the question is, do you have the capacity of labor to work on it? Do you have the capacity of revenue to fund that? No matter how long you try to stretch it out, if you only have a shelf life of, say, an HVAC system is 20 years, it may take you longer than 20 years to replace it. Therefore, you are lacking in capacity to be able to follow the schedule. Hard decisions have to be made. All this doesn't happen overnight, but will continue in 2019 and beyond. So all this technology, we're going to still be feeling our way on implementing a lot of this information I just shared with you for 18. So if you see a little less hair on me and my department heads, you'll know why. It's great information to have, and it's going to definitely improve our services to our residents. All right, moving on quickly. Executive summary, I just wanted to say that you each should have this, the budget book that is the details, because what I'm giving tonight is a high-level summary. I wanted just everybody, the residents, to know at home that what you're seeing, council, we have had 2 work sessions where we've went basically page by page and line by line, looking to review and answer any questions and modify anything that council has had. So it isn't just a high level that I'm passing and this is all that council knows and has heard. They've heard the details behind the details. The 2019 municipal budget corresponding appropriations ordinance is being presented for consideration consistent with section 10.10 of the City of Beavercreek Charter. So that's the official stake there. And I'm not going to go through here. We know that what happened with the state budget cuts that happened, that passed down to us, just to remind everybody that that equals to today still about $1.2 million annually that was dropped out that we had to cover. The city embarked, though, at that point in time, a specific strategy for specific levies designed to address those financial needs, and they've done a great job with the support of residents. They were able to offset the state reductions and stabilize the critical operations and capital improvement programs. Also with that, early 2017, I'm going to have to think back, and we have continued, the city embarked on updating its strategy, which levies to stabilize the funding and secure state rollback reimbursements by doing continuing levies. The budget process, again, you know, the directors were all instructed on to maintain and continue to maintain high level of services and everything that residents are expect of us, and while still maintaining a minimum fund balance. And of course, that is set by council at 20%, which we have accomplished. We still looked at creative solutions, shared resources, technology upgrades, efficiencies. All across the board, we have continued. And as I've stated, the public budget work sessions were conducted November 12th and 19th with staff and city council. And there's a picture of the budget book if you haven't seen it. And if this will, again, be available online. So if anybody has an interest, they can do line by line by line by line till their heart's content. A high-level roll-up here of expenditures. As you see on the operating funds, which are there, general fund, police, street levy, and park levy, as you can tell, each one of those are above 20%. Those are our operating levies, funds, so therefore we did meet the criteria that council has set for us. As we begin to go on, take a piece of the pie here. Revenue by category, $36.96 million. You see a big part of that, of course, is not a surprise. It's property tax, which we're property tax funded, and intergovernmental will go on here. So the city's reliance on property taxes to generate the revenue necessary to maintain operations and fund the city's capital improvement program. It's illustrated there. It's not a surprise. Property taxes are 54.9% of the city's total. 54.9%. The Greene County Auditor estimates the property tax, and for 19, he gave us the same number as 18. Now, that's a conservative way. We'll probably get above that, but that's the number that we receive from the auditor. Intergovernmental makes up 22.6%. That's the second largest. And, that's intergovernmental revenue includes like local government funds, cigarette tax, liquor and beer license, and hotel motel tax, which I will point out the hotel motel tax, we're not making a killing because it's not that big pot of money. So it's not going to balance our budgets. But with the number of hotels that we are getting in the city of Beavercreek, that number continues to increase with the hotels. So that's very good. And the makeup of the remaining revenues includes charges for services, interfund transfers, license fees, fines, sale of bonds, and special assessments. Contracted services and services are designed to cover the cost of services that provide various other entities. And for the other entities in 2019, we've budgeted $753,000 for shared services. And that's under the charges for services category, including with Beavercreek Township. People probably realize we have dispatch services for fire, Rotary Park, maintenance, In Touch publications. We do that. That's why Beavercreek Township's part of the In Touch, so they pay us to help with that, and providing fuel for fire and street operations, and of course Beavercreek Schools, Park District, and agreements with other entities. So we're always looking to expand that for charges for services, because that's part of being efficient form of government when we can share in these costs. The expenditures by function, now this is the excludes interfund transfers, but it's $40.51 million, and it's not a surprise there. Street and maintenance and capital is our number one. Street funds, roughly $18.99 million, or 46.9% of the total budget is in the street funds. This includes $11.22 million in infrastructure improvements. Big numbers. Public safety, of course, is the second largest at $10.8 million, 26.7% of our budget. And finally, the Parks and Rec represent $2.56 million, or 6.3% of the budget. And the remaining $8.16 million is comprised of the golf course, debt service, and general fund expenditures. By the category, so to switch it from the purpose to the category, of course, we are very service-driven. So what do you think the number one category is? Yeah, you guessed it, personnel. So the largest category is wages and benefits, accounting for $15.51 million, or 38.3% of the city's total budget. Includes salary increase of union and non-union at 2.5%, with health insurance blended increase of only 3%. 3%. Last year was very low as well. We have had a great run, or I believe our wellness program helps with this, helps employees stay healthy, but with our plans, if everybody ask anybody, 3% for a health insurance increase is unheard of. So we have been doing a very good job managing that, and employees have done a very good job staying healthy. The second largest component of the budget is category is capital. That's not a surprise either, which is $11.22 million, or 27.7% of the budget. And the majority of that is expenditures that relate to the street funds, which includes dedicated capital improvements as part of the 5-year capital improvement plan, which, if you recall, during the budget hearings, we went through all the 5-year capital improvement plan with the council at that point in time. And again, we do have a 5-year capital improvement plan book if anyone wants to look through that as well. Contractual is the third largest. Get my clicker to work. Third largest at $8.13 million, or 20.1%. And this is some of the larger items. This is where you get your interfund charges for indirect costs, resurfacing streets and curbs. That's annual resurfacing program and curbs program. That's where the funds are located in this. Other services, GIS mapping project, electricity, miscellaneous, and other maintenance, and all other kind of professional services, like how we pay Greene County health services, animal control, audit costs, recreational programs, and so forth. And the In Touch is in there as well. So looking forward to 2019 and beyond, just some facts about the city. Beavercreek is driven by property taxes. We've mentioned that, and will continue to experience effects of stabilizing property values. The good thing is property values are a stable funding resource. That is good. That helped us in the downturn of the economy. We weren't hit as hard because property values, especially in Beavercreek, maintained a good home value. Property tax revenues, though, will not keep pace with the continued increasing operating and aging infrastructure costs. Because you might get a 1% growth in income property tax, that's not going to cover when you have large increases in other line items. The city continues to expand shared services and review consolidation strategies to create efficiencies and reduce costs. We'll always do that. The passage of the Capital Improvement Street Levy was provided a short-term solution to address the city's aging infrastructure needs. The city, remember, talked about capacity. The city's capacity to maintain infrastructure needs will continue to increase and pose funding challenges. Additional interlocal government agreements are projected in 2019 as we continue to look for collaborative efforts to increase operational efficiencies and while maintaining and lowering our costs. The development strategies to provide long-term operational stability and sustainability for administration goals. We're going to continue to work with staff and identify and implement long-term infrastructure funding mechanisms to meet these future needs that we are talking about. New this year, we're working with the master's program at Wright State University on 2 capstone projects for the city. So that means free, again. They'll be able to analyze a few things for us. We're going to hold a council management strategy session in July, August of 19 and discuss and build consensus with City Council for policy initiatives, interests for 2020. That is when, again, we enter council into the budget process. Conduct City Hall open house in conjunction with the police department. Last year we did that, and I think you guys had more fun than the residents that came in. It's, a lot of people just do not know where we are even located. How many have to tell them, where the post office is on Dayton Xenia? It's down that road. We should be able to get them in here and for them to be able to come to meetings and actually see our facilities and what we have, both police and City Hall. But that was a great way to open up City Hall and let people see City Hall. Also continue rebranding process, possibly including the logo to see what council wants to do with that. Next, to continue on, financial administrative services, continue implementation of the new automated scheduling and timekeeping software. So we hopefully by the end of the year are done with the paper and done with double entry of some sorts, but the upload of the new system into the financial system, that's the last step that we really have to overcome. So this includes working with the city's current financial software vendor to automatically download timekeeping data directly into the payroll system. We will have, we had to run double systems for a little while. Why? To make sure everything double checks, the same numbers, the same dollars, the same accruals, the same, everything's coming, everything's matching. That means it's working. Not to say we won't have glitches here or there, but we want a stable system going forward. Develop long-term financial strategies, of course, to address these funding and timing of the city levies. Also continue to implement new financial reporting application. The Connect that we mentioned earlier will continue with that. And of course, I had to throw this in there for Mr. Cucina, and continue to win more awards. He didn't have that as his goal, so I put that in there for him. I should say that for Ms. Hathaway. Congratulations to her. Human Resources, which is under Financial and Administrative Services, they're going to conduct a comprehensive review of all standardized job descriptions and update as necessary. Development performance-based and merit programs for full-time and non-union employees, and review and develop more efficient hiring process. That's where we're going to be looking at. There's got to be an electronic way of getting so much of the data through instead of so much paper. So we're working on that already. Information Services always is a comprehensive review of the city's equipment and Stream Channel 5. What you're seeing here, they have done an excellent job to keep running with Band-Aids and duct tape. It's done very well, but it is very antiquated data or technology, but we are still rolling with it. And identify and analyze options to increase viewership. All right, moving on to planning and development goals. We're going to finalize the 2012 thoroughfare plan in collaboration with the city engineering staff and Beavercreek Bikeway and non-motorized transportation advisory committee, and update the 2015 land use map. It's a big mouthful there. Streamline all case file information. This is part of the new technology that we're getting for ease of access with the creation of an interactive geo-referencing map. So basically, they're going to be able to be in the map and drop those pins and see more details. But this is going to be a map for PUD case files as part of the continuation of the implementation of what we talked about, the Smart Gov enforcement software, DUDE solutions. And of course, we're going to focus on economic development efforts on the implementation of Community Improvement Corporation, the CIC that we've been talking about, and the community reinvestment areas, CRAs, that we've been talking about. And plus, as we've said, in 19 we'll do a presentation on the planning for the Beaverview shopping center that we have. Moving on here. Reallocate duties of the department. You know, last year, or this year, I gotta say this year still, we had a full-time position retire. We reallocated her duties and did some changing, reorganization within the department, but still going to require a part-time position to be hired to assist, but a full-time position was eliminated. So we are positive territory there. We're going to also assist the Beavercreek Bikeway and Non-Motorized Transportation Advisory Committee, I just call them BANTEC, in preparing the bicycle-friendly community status application to the League of American Bicyclists, and review and establish hunting regulations. Any pun there? I figured there might be a pun there for the hunting regulations. All right, police goals, moving on. We're getting done here. Complete documentation and proofs of applicable CALEA standards. So CALEA, you know, that's our accreditation for our police department, and that's vital in maintaining that. Administer selective traffic enforcement and impaired driving enforcement program grants. Those are the grants that we've been getting, and we want to maintain getting those grants. Continue supervisory and leadership development training for command staff and supervisory personnel. Implementation of Safety Town. Now, Safety Town is to educate preschool children about safety. This will be a first year of police departments reaching and partnering with the Beavercreek City Schools with this, and eventually we hope to have a business partner to help us fund this. It's going to start out in the gym, but hopefully we'll move to like a real little city. And the way businesses can make money is they can build these fake cities and buildings with their names on it for advertising purposes. But it will ultimately be able to be self-funded and help with educate preschool children about safety. And the school's really on board and excited about it as well. Conduct a police department open house and national night out. Conduct the 17th Citizens Police Academy class, the 17th. We got a couple of people, yeah, let me hear yay from that. That you were a class 15. Yeah, 15. So we got people still here with 15. That was great to engage them. At the end of the class, they always have a few council members and myself come and answer questions, and boy, were they ready this past year with questions. They were ready. Great questions. So that's the police goals. Public administrative services. This is the streets, traffic, building grounds, and fleet maintenance. Implement the DUDE solutions. They're kind of the key holder to this. They're the ones that have been assigned the main duties to get this up and running. Deploy and utilize the mobile technology for field crews. That's the tablets we've been talking about, so they can have tablets. Continue GIS collection and development. That GIS collection, that's where we want that truck to go down the road and know how many street miles exactly we have and what conditions they are. Completion of 2019 Tree City USA requirements. We're going to continue with accreditation requirements with expected evaluation in fourth quarter of 19. Replace street lightings with LED light heads as needed, and begin an annual street lighting lens cover cleaning program. Anticipate completing 20% in 2019. And continue master maintenance agreements and schedules with outside vendors. They're going to be doing at the maintenance facility, doing a little bit of ADA accessibility for disabilities, so you can gain access into the door easier. Exterior security cameras at municipal maintenance facilities. Unfortunately, you heard me say earlier at the golf course was some cameras, and here's some cameras. It's the world we live in, unfortunately, but this will make employees safe and actually help keep the public safe and our property, our property of that we are to maintain for the residents. And continue searching opportunities and networking with neighboring communities, including shared services. Engineering goals. I tell you, there's only one thing better than 2018 as far as the goals for engineering, and that's probably 2019. I don't know how they can top it, just with all the improvements that they're going to do, which you council has heard thoroughly on the plan. But management of ongoing and proposed private developments, right-of-way acquisitions, they're busy with that, consultant contracts, in-house design projects, ODOT projects, revised annual capital improvement plan, 5-year plan, which they did this year. They'll be working on that again for next budget cycle. Prepare application for new federal aid. These guys are the, I would say, the head notch above everybody else as far as when it comes to grant writing. Prepare application for federal aid for Ohio Public Works Commission, Clean Ohio, Rails to Trails Fund, and CDBG projects, and multiple other funding sources. Engineering is to put a solution of local drainage, flooding solutions. We always still have that. That's part of our capital infrastructure that we're not able to fund at this point in time, but we try to come up with solutions to help residents when things are flooding. Coordinate annual resurfacing bids with Greene County. There's, again, a partner that we have with the Greene County Engineers Office to get that best price. With parks, install new playgrounds. We just talked about this with the grant, Seville, E.J. Nutter, and Stafford Parks. We're also going to have a new paved parking lot at Shoup for overflow parking. Install a new roof at Beavercreek Station. Install signs for tree identification at Fox Run Park. We'll go complete and present the 10-year Parks Master Plan that I told you about. Replace water fountains at Rotary and Beavercreek Station and Veteran Memorial. Sometimes just a simple water fountain replacement makes a place a whole. When you're thirsty and it's hot in the summer and a water fountain's not working, something so simple, relatively low cost. Those things aren't cheap, but that makes all the difference in the experience that you can have at a facility. Coordinate at least 4 volunteer park improvements projects, plant 10 trees within various cemeteries, and replace fence at Sunnyside Cemetery. Going to continue to implementation of registration software that we were mentioned by the parks, so you can register your activities at the park and your covered places. To be used scheduling, programming, and reservations at the shelters. Okay, so send quarterly surveys for program and classes to make improvements on offerings. This is that communication and connectivity again. Increase special event donations to cover 90% of event costs, and increase specialty day camp and traditional day camp registration. Work with the Park Advisory Board to hold at least 2 meetings with volunteer partner groups, and again, we cannot do it without the volunteers. Cemetery goals, we kind of touched on that, to present the complete phase 2 and present that to council for consideration of project at Mount Zion Park. That would be in January. Continue to implement the new software to map out the graves, print out deeds and lock cards and invoices and receipts. Senior Center will continue the implementation of the transportation software. With that, you know what happens when you do software? Sometimes it makes you reorganize yourself. It makes you change other things that aren't part of the software. Well, that will be going on as well at the Senior Center. Reorganize transportation program at the Senior Center. Evaluate fitness room equipment. Finalize transportation manual for each van, which will include unique information for each vehicle. And lastly, moving on to golf goals, increase green fees, fees and pass fee revenue. We identified that We're changing our fee structure, as you can see there, move to a 4-tier. We're doing that because our competition does that. And you know, when you have competition, they say something and you're talking apples, they're talking oranges, and if their apples are cheaper, they're buying it there. Although really by the time they buy the apples plus the slicer, it's the same price that you are charging for yours. But what they have is a lot of the competition would start a week or 2 or 3 weeks earlier than our seasonal rates, and it'd make us look higher. And or they would advertise a certain way with a cart, without a cart, and we'd be all inclusive. Our number would be all inclusive. Well, when you are trying to compare what their number is and somebody calls around, we want to be on the same page that they are advertising. Now, 6 months down the road, they could switch it up, and we may have to switch up with them because we want to stay in the same kind of communication so we aren't losing because somebody's misunderstanding our prices versus somebody else's. We're going to also review alternatives for phase 2 of the practice range for improvements. You know, the golf ball machine was a big hit, but we had more to do. But when we did the bid this year, the price came out more than double than we even thought. You know, we thought $150,000, it came out to be $300,000. So we will be reviewing that this year, plus with the general fund due from payment that we made this year to the golf course. That was great that we got to do that, but you know, with the general fund that maintains 20%, we were going to reduce the amount of things we might spend out at the golf course during 2019. And just ending, I want to thank the City of Beavercreek residents for their support to the great team of city employees. They're absolutely the best. They really are. I'd like to thank Diane Gould for helping me with this presentation. She put it together, and it's easy to tweak something that you didn't put together. So I give her a lot of the credit for this. I appreciate her. And thanks for the City Council also for your support and direction. The city is looking forward to 2019 and what lies ahead, and I'm available for any questions or comments. And thank you. Thank you. I know it's long. Thank you.
As we move through the agenda, the next is ordinances, resolutions, and PUDs, and we will start with Resolution 18-49.
This is a resolution accepting the 2019 city budget as presented by the city manager.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Before we move on, the next 4 items are all to deal with the budget, and they're all center around what you just heard. So you probably won't see a lot of discussion up here because we've been working on it for a while. But this first one is Resolution 18-49. I have a motion and a second to accept the 2019 budget. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rushing?
Yes.
Councilmember Van?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Garcia?
Yes.
Councilmember Curran?
Yes.
Mayor Stone?
Yes. Thank you. Next is ordinance 18-28.
This is an ordinance approving the annual appropriations for the city of Beavercreek, state of Ohio, for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2019, and ending December 31st, 2019, and authorizing the transfer of monies.
Thank you. And of course, this is to pay for all those things we talked about. Any discussion? Do I have a motion?
Second.
And before we do this, I'm sorry, this is an ordinance, so we're going to open this up for the public input. Is there anyone present tonight that would like to address council on this ordinance that's been submitted? Anyone at all? Now we can move on. May I have that motion again, please?
So move.
I move to approve ordinance 18-28.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 18-28. Any further discussion? May we have a roll call again, please?
Councilmember Rushing?
Yes.
Councilmember Van?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Garcia?
Yes.
Councilmember Curran?
Yes.
Mayor Stone?
Yes. Thank you. Motion carries. Next is Resolution 18-50.
This is a resolution adopting pay schedules for non-union, full-time classified and non-classified positions and part-time seasonal and intermittent positions.
Thank you.
Happy holiday.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Well, this resolution provides council to set and approve the 2019 pay schedules for non-union full-time as noted in Exhibit A and B, and also part-time seasonal and intermittent employees on Exhibit C. Ohio's minimum wage will be increased and adjusted effective January 1 of 2019, which reflects an increase in the Consumer Price Index. The minimum wage will increase from $8.30 to $8.55, which is a 3% increase for non-tipped employees, and from $4.15 to $4.30, which is a 3.61% increase for tipped employees. Minor adjustments have been made to those pay schedules. They were made to grade 902 and also for grades 607 through 619, just to reduce some of the compression on the pay schedules. And these adjustments the adjustments recommended have been reflected in the 2019 budget that was just adopted in Resolution 18-49, accepting the 2019 budget. The pay schedules are proposed to become effective with adoption of a resolution by council establishing the pay schedules effective January 1 of 2019, and it is staff's recommendation that the proposed 2019 pay schedules covering non-union full-time and part-time employees and seasonal and intermittent positions be accepted.
All right, thank you very much. And just for the public's input or information, correct me if I'm in error, but I believe we increased the rates we were going to pay our seasonal and part-time, or at least our seasonal people, so that we could attract
Yes.
and returnees, so to speak. on that.
Last
So
year,
that
we
was
did
it.
a rate analysis
Right.
of about, I want to say, 27 area municipalities so that we would be more competitive.
All right, very
Yes.
good. So those that help us out during the summer season and other places, take note. We want you back, please. All right, any questions? Do I have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 18-50. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Resolution 18-51.
This is a resolution to set and approve the 2019 wage for city manager and clerk of council.
So council has conducted a performance review for both the city manager and the clerk of council, and therefore recommends approval of the resolution.
Thank you very much. And on that note, the vice mayor was gracious enough to facilitate the evaluations, and we appreciate that. If they are on file at the Human Resource Office, if anybody is so interested. And all went well. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Motion?
I move to approve Resolution 18-51.
I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 18-51. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is Ordinance 18-27.
This is a second reading of an ordinance rezoning 4.6 acres from CPUD 96-4 to CPUD 18 oh shoot, I didn't put it in here. 9? Sorry. 18-4. Further described as Book 3, page 19, parcels 95, 97, 98, and 105 on the Greene County Property Tax Atlas.
Thank you. This is the second reading of this ordinance, so it is a public hearing. Is there anyone present tonight that would like to address council on this ordinance? Anyone? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Any comments from council? Seeing none, this will naturally move on to the third reading, so thank you very much. Next, Chief, you're on the spot. Liquor permits.
Evening, Mayor, Council. I have two stock changes for two liquor permits. The first is for change of corporate stock ownership for Brio Restaurant Group Incorporated. Department of Commerce Division of Liquor Control sent its notification of a request regarding a change of corporate stock for a D5I D6 liquor permit for Brio Restaurant, doing business as Bravo Cucina Italiana, 2731 Fairfield Commons. The records checks required by the Ohio Department of Commerce Division of Liquor Control were conducted on this, and staff is recommending the application request move forward without comment.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept without comment the Bravo Brio Restaurant Group, Inc., DBA Bravo Cucina Italiana liquor permit.
I have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, sir.
The second permit is again a change of corporate stock ownership for Bravo Brio Restaurant and Group Incorporated. This one involves the change of corporate stock on a D5J D6 liquor permit for Bravo Brio Restaurant Group, doing business as the Brio Tuscan Grille, 4459 Cedar Park, which is in the Greene. The records checks required for this particular request were also conducted, and again, staff's recommending this request move forward without comment.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I motion to accept without comment.
I have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving right along. Mayor's report is next. It's been a fun couple weeks. Last Thursday, I was in Columbus for the Ohio Mayor's Alliance quarterly meeting. The governor-elect and lieutenant governor-elect were both present, and the only thing in general, they did not give any details, but they tend to, like they're going to be a little kinder and gentler to the local community. So we'll see how that works out. Last week was the Miami Valley Military Affairs Association dinner, which seemed to be well attended. This morning I had the pleasure of being at the Beavercreek High School, where our county officials took the oath of office in front of some government classes. This is something that's been going on for the last 6 years, but this is the first time at Beavercreek. So I was just there to say welcome, and then headed right off to drive the senior bus. And this is our last regular scheduled meeting for the year. So I want to wish everyone a safe and joyous Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and anything else you may celebrate during this holiday season. So just be safe and be joyous in everything you do for the rest of this year. So that is it for me right now. We'll go to council time, and how about we start with Councilmember Rushing?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just two brief comments. I just want to congratulate Councilmember Kern, who took his oath of office last Thursday. I was able to attend, and we welcome you back. You didn't go too far, so we hope for another great year ahead. Other than that, the mayor hit it, but I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and here's to another year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Van.
I think that I appreciate, we've got two developments that are adjacent to Beavercreek that I'm getting a lot of phone calls from residents about. One is the black parcel that is in Sugar Creek Township. The zoning has been approved, but still we need to work for the site plan and make sure it meets the needs of our residents as well as theirs. I thought it was interesting that they convinced their township trustees to vote for it in fear that our planner directive would increase the density, which is just so far from being true. I was just shocked to hear that. So it blew me away. But I think that we need to be diligent and make sure that the transportation traffic ways plans are going to meet the needs of that development and not cause us harm. So there's also a lot, I've had a half dozen residents from Kingswood Forest concerned about the development in Beavercreek Township. And I don't know as much about that, so I don't know what happened at that meeting. So it was withdrawn? Yay.
Was that the store? Yes.
Good. And for next year's budget, I look forward to having items budgeted for our Division of Culture, now that we've got people who are working to have cultural activities in Beaver Creek. I think it's important that we also have budget for those people, even if they're volunteers, even more so since they're volunteers, because volunteers are donating their time and they need money to do the stuff, and it's just really important. So I hope that next year's budget doesn't shorthand that portion of the Parks, Recreation, and Culture budget. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Kern.
Well, I attended the Christmas brunch. That was really exciting. And what a crowd. I think the director out there said they had 240,
300, over 300.
over 300,
Over 300.
participants in that. It was really a phenomenal holiday activity. And then I got a call from, I didn't get a call. I got an email from Councilman Van to go down to the Engineers Club and have lunch with some ladies and gentlemen and then some Russian journalists with the Friendship Force.
Yeah, the Open World Program
Yeah.
is funded by our U.S. Congress, and they bring delegates from previously communist countries to come to the United
Right.
States to learn about democracy and a topic of interest. And so Russia sent journalists, young journalists who are in the field to make a positive difference for their residents by providing factual and timely information so that people better understand the issues, which was exactly what we do. It was their energy was wonderful, but they usually spend 2 days in Washington D.C. to talk about democracy, and instead they went to Radio America, the radio station that's funded by our government that goes overseas. Voice of America. And so they didn't get to talk to the congressman that they normally did. So we had a session, and I invited this very good professor from Sinclair to come, and but we also had Rick Perales, and we also had Carolyn Rice and myself, and we talked about local government, and I really appreciated Chuck
Yeah, it was
coming.
fun.
It was good.
Home week there.
And I had them rate the sessions, and they thought that was I thought maybe they would be kind of bored with that session, but they gave it a 10 out of 10. So thank you for contributing, and
Thank you.
appreciate that.
And happy holiday to all the council members and the staff and manager. Congratulations to you for a good presentation, and look for a good new year. Thank you.
I've thought of one more thing I would like to say.
Please.
I think that one of our council members is going to experience a Labor Day coming up, because she is going to have a baby. And I would like to extend from the entire council best greetings for an easy and very happy day.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah,
it's going to
coming up
be,
soon.
it's going to be great. So
Thank you. Yep, 3 more weeks. So
looking
we'll see.
forward to that news.
It'll be exciting. So.
Vice Mayor Garcia, would you like to make some
Yes,
comments?
thank you. Just thank you to the entire council for participating in the annual surveys for the city clerk and the city manager. One of the comments that stuck out to me, which I always really appreciate the comment section because it's extra time that people have to do, but they're very helpful. One of the comments I really appreciated was that the comments from last year's evaluation were implemented throughout the year in the work that they produced this year. So I think that just goes to show that our evaluations help, our comments help. And again, as the mayor stated, that those are all on file now with HR, so if you want to pull those or if you want to follow up with any of the comments further, please feel free to do so. And the only other thing I have is that, unfortunately, I couldn't make Mr. Kern swearing in. I was moderating an event for the Women's League with the mayor of Trotwood, vice mayor of Trotwood, and a city council member. So Mayor McDonald, Vice Mayor Gales, and Councilwoman Brown, and I all engaged in a very nice conversation at the Women's Leadership Institute over at Wilmer Hale. And it was really interesting to hear the things that Trotwood is doing, the way their council handles different things, about their election process, especially because ours will be changing in the next year. So to hear about the different things they're doing it was really fun. So everybody else, I hope you have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll look forward to seeing you back here in 2019.
All right. All right, moving on. This is time for citizen comment. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to address council on any issue? One of our young scouts have anything they'd like to ask council or tell council? Okay, I'm sorry I put you on the spot. Anyone want to address council tonight? Seeing none, we will move on. The next item in the agenda is an executive session. There's nothing that will come.
I move.
There is action.
There action? All right.
Yes.
So we're going to recess for executive session. We will come back after that executive session, and most likely there will be action taken by council. So you're more than welcome to stick around, but we will be out for a few minutes and for executive session discussion. So do I have a motion for executive session?
I move to enter into an executive section that's pursuant to Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code for the purpose of consideration of employment of a public employee.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to enter into executive session. We don't need a roll call for this, do we?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Van? Yes. Vice Mayor Garcia?
Yes.
Councilmember Curran?
Yes.
Councilmember Rushing?
Yes.
Mayor Stone?
Yes. So we will retire into an executive session. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. All right, we are back, and may I have a motion to adjourn executive session?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Do I have a motion to reconvene the regular meeting?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to reconvene the regular meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. We need to make an adjustment to our agenda. Do I have a motion to amend?
So move.
Second.
Well, the motion will be to, how about the motion to amend by adding resolution number 18-52?
Right.
Do I still have a so moved?
Move to amend by adding resolution 1852, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda, adding resolution number 18-52. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, would you please now read the resolution 18-52?
I gave my copy away, hold on. This is a resolution approving a separation agreement with the Communications Workers of America Local 4322 and Clint Cadell, and authorizing the city manager to take all steps necessary to finalize and enforce the agreement.
Thank you. Any discussion? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion to approve and a second to approve resolution 18-52. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Abstentions, motion carries. Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Oh, and you want this?